m'appelle Ken Weene. Bienvenue à Walking on the Weene Side, and partie de It Matters Radio. And for those of you who don't speak even as much French as I manage to mangle, hi, I'm Ken Weene, and welcome to Walking on the Weene Side, a part of It Matters Radio. My guest this evening is Caroline Torbey, who is currently in her motherland of Lebanon. She was born in the suburbs of Paris. From there, her family moved to Cameroon in Africa. Now she lives in Beirut, where she studied political science at the very prestigious St. Joseph University. Caroline currently works in international public relations, which gets her traveling around the world some. Her first book was published in 2016, a novel titled, if my English translation is correct, What Time Is It at Your Home? Quelle heure est-il chez vous? Her next book, which is the one we're discussing this evening, is Dessine-moi un proverbe, les proverbes libanais racontés à nos enfants. Draw me a proverb, Lebanese proverbs taught to children. And it was illustrated by Renee Thomas. And I was very impressed to learn, Caroline, that it was actually published under the auspices of both the Ministry of Education of your country and the Ministry of Culture. That's quite an endorsement. Why did your government want to have this book published? Why is it so important that the two ministries have supported its publication?
Okay, first of all, hello, and thank you for hosting me on your station. The government and the ministries wanted to help us in this project because it's a very educational and a helpful project to keep the children bounded to their culture and to their heritage, cultural heritage. Mm-hmm. So it was very important for them to facilitate and to make it easier for us to publish this book and to spread awareness around it in order for the parents to get to know the book and to introduce it to their children.
Now, of course, we're talking about two languages here, really. The book is written in French, but there is some Arabic in there as well. And,
yes.
And both of these are the languages of Lebanon, and they are also the languages of the Lebanese diaspora.
Yes, actually, in Lebanon we speak three. Like the main language is Arabic, of course. The Lebanese usually spoken Arabic, but we usually mix the three languages, so French, English, and Arabic. This is a typical characteristic of a typical Lebanese person. There's a very known sentence that we all say that is "Hi, kifak sava." So it really mixes the three languages to say hello, no, how are you? Uh-huh. So the book is written in French because my mother tongue is French. And it was easier for me to write in French and to build the book in French. But there is a project. The book will actually be translated in English and in Arabic for 2018. And I just need to specify that for this book that is actually here, we self-edited ourselves, me and my partner, René Thomas, which is the illustrator of the book. We self-edited ourselves. But for the English and the Arabic version, we will pass by a publishing house that will take care of all the translation part of the awareness around the book in the Arabic entities and schools and etc.
Well, I just, folks, in case you didn't quite catch that, okay, Caroline and the people of Lebanon in general start out in life speaking three languages, Arabic, French, and English. And, of course, for those of us living here in the United States where we really seldom even begin learning a second language until we're in middle school, this is just incomprehensible. But then there's something else about, I've never been to Lebanon, I wish I had, But one thing I do know about Lebanon is that it is one of the most cultured and refined and civilized countries on earth. And the food is just off the charts delicious. I have had a chance to eat in Lebanese restaurants in France and in the States, and the food is truly one of the great delights of the culinary world. So yours is a very old culture, a very civilized culture, a very wonderful culture from everything I know of it. And you're trying to make that come alive for children to catch the roots of the culture. Is that the purpose of this book?
Yes, exactly. So for me, Proverbs is, if you want, the Proverbs are the roots of. It's a mirror. It's the mirror of a nation. Okay, and with the mondialization, the globalization, I think we say in English, the globalization and all the information that comes from outside, we tend to forget a bit what we have inside, what we have within our country. Mm-hmm. So it was very important for me to put back all our culture, all our roots, and to transmit it to our children, because children are the hope of the country. So it was very important for me to transmit this heritage to children.
Yeah. Now, when I was a child growing up, one of my first books was something called Aesop's Fables. Now they were all fables from millennia ago, passed down, mm-hmm. but they weren't particularly the stories of my heritage. One of the things that struck me about this and what you're just saying now is that you are trying to pass down the stories of your heritage, of your people, so that your children won't forget them.
Yes, and the particular thing about this book is in this book I don't explain the Proverbs. So it's not like a typical dictionary of the Proverbs where you can find their origins, where you can find from where region they are from Lebanon. It's really a book that is telling the Proverbs by short and illustrated stories to the children. So they really get the sense of the proverb and they understand it. Because the purpose was to understand the proverb, not only to explain. Why do we say, for example, la troisième c'est la bonne, the third one is the good one? I don't know if you can say it in English also. So why do we say that? Not only to explain where does it come from, but why to make it understandable for the children. Why do we say that the third one is the good one? By telling it via a story illustrated in simple words that carries a message, that carries a moral at the end, mm-hmm. and for the children to remember it after.
Yeah. Now, the third one is a good one. That's not one of the stories I had available to read, but in America we have if you don't succeed, try again, which gives you 3 tries.
Yeah.
Now, so there's an overlap, and that was another thing that struck me, was that while these proverbs that I got to see were very much obviously to your culture and from your culture, they also resonated in other cultures, and I thought that was very interesting.
It cuts. I can't hear anything. Sorry?
I said that these stories resonated with me, that they come across as being universal in some way.
Yes, absolutely. It's a point that is very important to talk about. While I was doing my researches for this book, so while I was doing the research about the proverbs and what to pick as a proverb, I came across many proverbs from a lot of countries around the world. And I found a lot of similarities between those proverbs, which for me led to a very important conclusion, is that finally, at the end, a proverb is not only the mirror of a nation, but it's actually the mirror of the whole humanity, because the similarities between those proverbs really shows that the common sense that we find in the different nations and in the different countries has the same source, the same
wisdom.
Yes, the same wisdom, exactly.
Yes.
So,
and that's a beautiful thing to realize, that there
yes.
is, that we are, one of my favorite quotes in the world is, we are all more nearly human than otherwise. That we are, all of us in some ways, so very much alike. And that certainly is true about children and what we're trying to teach them. And after this short break, we'll be back to talk a little bit more with Caroline Torbey, who is my wonderful guest this evening.
مش
Welcome back to Walking on the Wean Side. And I wanted to ask you comment about the stories. One of the things I loved about the stories is that, as we do in this country, as I think we do all over the world, we tell children stories in terms of animals. And for example, now we have one story that I learned as a kid. It's not told about an animal. Well, it isn't directly. It's the boy who cried wolf. Then it is the liar is never believed. So did he tell the truth? Is the proverb. Then this is about an owl. Now we have a boy who's guarding the sheep. Is the version I learned as a kid. But you use an owl. And
I use an owl. Sorry,
an owl, the bird.
Really
the bird.
I can't hear. Sorry.
The bird, an owl.
Yes.
Yeah. And he gets caught in a bush, and he's calling for help, and the other owls don't believe him.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's really the illustrations I wanted to go to there, and there's this wonderful owl in a bush, the illustration. Now, tell me a little about your illustrator.
So, just to come back to what you just said, why we chose to feature animals in this book. First of all, I have to say that this book is the first volume of a series of books. Okay, the target is to tell hundreds of proverbs, and within this book you have 20 proverbs. Right. So it's the first of a series of books. This volume, this first tome, features animals. Why animals? Because we thought that the typical patriotic and culturally minded characters of these books should first be animals, because they are more likely to be liked and loved by children.
Little children, yeah.
Little children, okay? So, about the illustrator, Renée Thomas is the illustrator. She is my partner in this project. And I met her through a friend in a party. It was more than 1 year ago, and she told me what she was doing. So she was an illustrator. She studied in Canada. She told me a bit about her background, etc. And I had this project in mind. This book project is in my mind since more than 4 years. So it's been years that I'm thinking about this project, but I have never met someone that really touched me with the illustrations. So when I met Renée and she showed me her work and her illustration, I really fell in love with her drawings because she has this touch with the colors. She really has something special by the way she mixes colors, by the way she draws the characters, and she really has also the perfect personality to work with mine. I am a very Aryan person. How do you say it? Like, I'm very Aryan. I'm not squarish at all. I'm a very round person. Oh. And she is very squarish. So we really complete each other. That's why this project also worked, because our two personalities were really compatible.
Now, you have a copy of the book there with you, and we're talking about the illustrations. Could you hold it up so the audience might be able to see one of the illustrations? Of course. Because I've seen a couple, but there's no way for me to show them.
So I will show you a typical illustration where we feature a snail.
A snail, okay. Yes. The snail's name is Benza.
It's a snail. The snail name is Bezai.
Uh-huh.
Why Bezai? Because in Arabic, Bezai'a means snail. So in each story, I chose the name of the characters in a very targeted, in a very, in a very careful way. Because I wanted children to remember that bezea means snail in Arabic. So if you can see in this illustration, the snail wears a tarbush. Tarbush is a typical hat, typical Lebanese hat, the red hat that you see.
Right.
And this shows that in each story we tried to put Lebanese items as much as possible. I will show you another one.
But before you do that, I just wanted to say I love the proverb that goes with that. Particularly, that was one I did get to see. If your eye makes you see defects, close it and say to yourself, everybody else has eyes too, so that they can see the defects in you, as it were.
Exactly.
And of course,
it's really to say that you should not judge, actually, because no one is able to judge anyone, because we all do mistakes. We all have bad sides. And by the fact of judging, we just actually judge ourselves by judging others. So let's not judge and accept each other with and without our qualities and defects.
Right. And then the next illustration, you wanted to share another one. Yeah.
Yes, I will show you quickly another illustration. So this illustration features a bee. Okay?
Oh yes, great bee.
It's a bee drinking a coffee.
Yeah.
Was inside her house.
Oh, I have to make a comment here about the coffee. Folks, if you ever go to a Lebanese restaurant, be sure and have a cup of coffee.
Yes, we do have really a very good coffee.
Yeah.
And as you can see, in the illustration you see here the coffee cup with the coffee brewer.
Right.
It's called a rakwe. And inside the story, I inserted those words, rakwe and kahwa, which means coffee and the coffee brewer. And all these words are explained in a lexical at the end of the book, so that the child can also learn few Arabic.
Okay. Now, I have to just point something out here, folks, to you. If you have, this is a book like a 4-year-old to 6 or 7-year-old is going to really enjoy. The illustrations, as you just saw, are fabulous. Now, here's the thing. If you have a child, a little kid, and you want to expose them to other languages, in this case, some French, a little bit of Arabic, but French, this is a wonderful book for them. And, of course, you said there's going to be an English translation coming out.
Yes, of course, in 2018. Yeah. And the big news also, because this book is not only destined to the Lebanese children, I originally thought of doing this book for the Lebanese diaspora, because I am a child of the diaspora, and I know how hard it is for parents to find items and to find things that relate to Lebanon for their children while they are living abroad. So this book is really destined to the Lebanese diaspora, the children of the diaspora. And why was I saying that? Yes, because it will be translated, and the big news is that it will be also available in ebook. We are now doing the ebook version of this book. So anywhere you are, you will be able to get it.
Get it on the child's iPad, because I walk around and it seems to me every kid in America anyway seems to have an iPad under their arms.
Yes, and in Lebanon also.
So that's wonderful. Of course, I prefer print books myself. So I'm waiting for it to come out here in the States so I can buy a copy to have on my shelf, just because I love it. And now, tell me, what was the proverb that went with the bee?
The proverb that went with the bee was the word yaret does not build a house. Yaret is a word that we very usually use in Lebanon. It's like you say, oh, if only. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it's like a regret word. If only I had the strength, I would go out for a jogging. If only I was more courageous, I would not miss a work day today. If only I had the patience to, I would cook a very good meal for my children today. So it's a common word that we say here when we don't have the patience to do something. And this proverb explains that by saying this word, yaret, which means if only, you'll never be able to succeed in anything in life. So it shows that you never have to be lazy. Even if you are lazy, force yourself, be a bit more courageous, be a bit more excited, and you will see that you will succeed everything in your life. Because the word yaret does not build a house.
Yeah,
it does not
folks,
build anything.
Just in case you didn't get the translation across culture, not across language, but across culture. If here in America, you might have heard the expression, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride, which is very much the same idea.
Yes,
if only I could have it. And we'll be right back and have a little bit more of this fun discussion. Welcome back to Walking on the Weene Side. Now, most Americans are terrible at geography. People of Europe hopefully are better, and of course our audience is all over the world, by the way. We have audience in places as far away as Australia, South Africa. But Americans specifically, we're not very good at geography. I was good. I like geography. I like world affairs, but most Americans honestly have trouble finding the United States on a globe, and let alone finding Lebanon. But one of the things that I know about your book is that you're trying to give so much. I mean, this is really a model for how to build a children's book. And one of the things you do is try and give the children, or reading the book, a sense of the country, how the country is laid out. And you use a map. And I thought that map was really charming. I don't know, could you show us the map and just explain what you did?
Yes, sure. So as you just mentioned it, in that book, you find a map to give geographical notions to the children while they are reading the book. So we earlier spoke about that bee, Zereta, that drinks her coffee in the morning.
Right.
So this story happens in Kobayat. Kobayat is a region in the North Lebanon. Where is Kobayat in Lebanon? It's where the bee is located on the map. So if you see here, you can see the head of the bee. So the children can really recall and know where Kobayat is located in Lebanon by pointing out the head of the character. Okay, we spoke about the snail with the tarbush, and the story of the snail is happening in Zahle. Zahle is located. I don't know what it's touching. It's located exactly where the snail is on the map. So if you can see here, okay. So this is really to show you that this book gives not only vocabulary and heritage, cultural notions, it also gives geographical notions. So it's a very pedagogic manual at the end that gives many notions to children. And in Lebanon, I'm sure in other countries, they are doing. But in Lebanon, the parents their children, and they really invest in the education, and they push their children to give their maximum by learning more languages, like three basic languages, by always doing their best in their studies. So it's something very important that Lebanese people do. They really help the children to get the best education that they can.
And this book is clearly a great beginning step.
Thank you.
And there are going to be more of them, and I assume that as the new other ones are going to be for a little bit older children, so that they're going to be able to like read one, and then maybe 6 months later get the next one and grow a little more.
The next one is scheduled for the end of 2018. So the volume 2 will be a completely new word with new illustrations that René will do. It will be a very beautiful project.
Mm-hmm. And again, folks, you can't buy it in most of the world yet, but hopefully at some point there will be, not only available in Arabic, in French with Arabic, but also with English version, with cross-referencing glossaries, so your kids could learn a few Arabic words, maybe pick up a little French, and it's going to be called in English. The title would be Draw Me a Proverb, Lebanese Proverbs Taught to Children. And I just love the idea of this book. And I saw it on the internet. I think it was in The Guardian, a British publication. And I said, oh my, what a wonderful sounding book. I have to learn more. And Caroline Torbey, I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on Walking on the Weene Side.
It's me. I thank you very much. And I would like to really thank you for hosting us and for allowing us to reach another part of the world, which is your side of America. This is a very important thing for us. And thanks to you and to all the press actually around the world that is calling us and asking us for interviews. This book will, I am sure, reach the target of the Lebanese diaspora and the Arabic diaspora. So thank you very much, Kenneth, for the interview.
It's been my great pleasure. Have a wonderful evening.
البنت الشلبية عيونها لمية حبك من قلبي يا قلبي انت عينيا حبك من قلبي يا قلبي انت عينيا حد القناطر محبوبي ناصر كسر الخواطر يا ولفي مان عليا كسر الخواطر يا ولفي مان عليا والطل بتلوح والقلب مجروح وايام عالبال بتعن وتروح وايام عالبال بتعن تحت الرمان حبي حكاني وسمعني غناني يا عيوني وتغزل فيا سمعني غناني يا عيوني وتغزل فيا قلبي يا قلبي انت عينيا كسر الخواطر يا ولدي ما بان عليا وايام عالبال بتعن أيام سمعني غناني يا عيوني وتغزل فيا
وسمعني غناني يا عيوني وتغزل فيا.
You stopped instead, I caught your smile. I'm just no good, no good. It's too late to dream of home.
My coffee queen, where have you been?
All of the things we said. Where does the time all go?
I'm going to do you guys a little John party, so if you like it, please give it a like, share, subscribe.